that in your bio. So can you tell us a little bit about that? With your family, just briefly, have you guys strived to overcome to get you to where you are today?
What's interesting is when you were reading the bio, you mentioned that I have a book called Color Me Butterfly.
Yes.
Well, in my family, Color Me Butterfly was the first book that I decided to write because I was in corporate America. I had a health scare. Most people think that I came into this work because I wanted to break the silence, right?
Right.
Everything that your organization and your podcast stand for, and I was going to take a stand. But that's not how it happened. And that's not how it typically happens in most generational families, right?
Mhm.
It happened because I was in corporate America. I had a serious health scare, and my doctor, Dr. Lee, I'll never forget, sent me home one weekend with some harrowing news. And ultimately, what he said to me was, change your life or change your life expectancy. And I was working 80 hours a week in corporate America, and I had to make a decision. Was I
Right.
going to take Dr. Lee's advice, or was I going to do something that was going to make a difference in my life? And that difference wasn't about, breaking the silence in my family. It was, I always wanted to be an author. And so so what do you know when you decide to write a story? What you know is you know your story. So I
Mhm.
set out to write my first book called Color Me Butterfly. It tells the story of 4 generations of mothers and daughters in my family, my grandmother, my mother, myself, and my daughter that suffered and survived over 60 plus years of domestic violence.
Mhm.
And that book would go on to win 10 awards. And the same year that that book came out, Promise, my granddaughter, was born into this generational, what I like to believe was a curse on my family. And I've
Yes.
since changed the trajectory of that C word from a
Yes.
from a curse to a calling. And Promise was born in 2007 when Color Me Butterfly came out. And 6 months later, she would lay on the bed next to my daughter as my daughter was strangled and nearly killed for the second time by Promise's father. And it was that story that inspired me to finally walk away from that corporate career and launch Saving Promise.